Time to go around the globe as we take a look at the latest rumours interesting us in the transfer rater. Alejandro Moreno is here to say whether these are good ideas or bad ideas, whether they'll come off or not. Ale, Paul Pogba's still at the top of the list. I don't understand this. Every single day we've got Paul Pogba here. Real Madrid.
You're asking me
Yeah.
why he's on top of the list?
Tell me that first.
Well, I don't make those decisions, I'll have you know. The other thing I would say about Paul Pogba is that the flirting going on between him, Real Madrid, and by extension Zinedine Zidane, in saying, well, I am here. I love Zinedine Zidane. Would love to play for him someday. And then you're like, wait a minute. If you're such a good friend of Zinedine Zidane, if you admire him so much, you could just pick up the phone and say, Zinedine, I love what you do with Real Madrid and I wish you the very best. Instead, this is all coming out in press conferences almost as if to say, I'm here, baby, come get me.
It doesn't help that France Football put him on the cover and then say the route to Madrid, right?
Well, no. Of course it doesn't. But again, it's part of the flirting going on. And it's similar to what Hazard is doing with Chelsea. Or at Chelsea. Look, I think at some point he's going to go. I don't know whether it's now or in the future or in next summer or whatever it may be. I just think this is meant to happen. And it may not be the worst thing for Manchester United if they're able to get some value for him. What they do with that value, what they do with that money may just be as important as it is Paul Pogba walking out the door. I'm going to go with a hit.
All right. The cog around everything that gets rebuilt, not at Manchester United, but at the Bernabeu under Zidane.
Yeah.
David Luiz, he's at the end of his contract this summer. He suggests that he wants to stay, but is he perhaps better off leaving, or do you think he will leave?
For a couple of years, he felt like David Luiz wasn't even there. And then he's had sort of a rebirth, but it's a rebirth that people can point the finger at and say, he's some of the things that are wrong about Mauricio Sarri's Chelsea is that when they play a certain formation where David Luiz has to mark in 1v1 situations, that doesn't quite work. He has to play in a back three where he's a free guy and he can pass out of the back and all those things. Well, so then you have to imagine and have to ask a question as to, okay, well, is Mauricio Sarri going to be around? What about the transfer ban with Chelsea? Does it make sense for them to allow David Luiz to just walk out the door when they don't know what players are going to come in? The truth is that I think his time has come and gone at Chelsea, and it's time for him to go elsewhere.
Interesting.
Oh, no, this is this way, right?
Oh, yeah, to leave. He's a hit.
What am I doing?
You can't go back. You've gone, David Luiz. I'm sorry.
Yeah, David Luiz, you're coming this way.
Gareth Bale, back to the Premier League.
You know, it'd be obvious to say that he's not happy at Real Madrid. It's obvious to see that his teammates don't quite appreciate his presence at Real Madrid. That Zidane would prefer not to have him in Real Madrid, but he's got a gigantic contract. And so what do you do with it? How do you move him? So it's not as easy as if to say, well, Gareth Bale's going to go somewhere. No, he's got to agree to perhaps take a pay cut, to perhaps restructure his contract, to maybe go on loan somewhere. And if he goes on loan, I think it may be connected to the next guy that we're going to see, that maybe his best option is to go from Real Madrid to Bayern Munich. And so, last I checked,
that's not in the Premier League.
no, it is not. Okay.
All right. But
We can't bring David Luiz back? No.
He's stuck. Arjen Robben. This was a rumour which kind of came out and then it sort of seemed to be extinguished to Toronto FC. Do you think that they're interested?
Quickly extinguished.
Yes.
It was like it was out there. Hey, Robben to Toronto, what an idea that would be. And then it's like, no, it's not happening. I don't think MLS should be in the business of going after players that are of this age. It's 35 years old, and some people are going to say, well, what about Zlatan? Well, let me tell you, Zlatan is at a different profile than Arjen Robben. So, I just don't see it.
35 years of age, 10 years at Bayern Munich. Arjen Robben perhaps stays around if he follows the model of Franck Ribéry. Philippe Coutinho. Now, this is an interesting one with Gareth Bale's wages you mentioned. Are we kind of in danger here? If he is to leave Barcelona, as the rumour suggests, there's only a select few teams that can take these players. Once they go over the £100 million in terms of signing, in terms of the money that he's on, how on earth does he leave Barcelona?
Well, he leaves Barcelona if he doesn't start playing better. Now, as of late, he's been okay. But for the last month and a half or so, it's been kind of like, man, this guy, when he gets on the field, the team is not any better. In fact, you're looking down the sideline and say, when is Dembele coming back? Is he coming back from an injury soon? Because we need his change of pace. He doesn't seem to find what his space is in Barcelona and can't quite figure out how to play around Lionel Messi. And it's now been a while. It's not like it's a time for him to try to acclimate himself with Barcelona. So you're going to have to make a decision as to think, is Coutinho going to be any better in Barcelona? Or does he need to go somewhere else? And is that a decision that's up to him or is it up to the club? I think he's just going to stay a little bit longer.
All right.
Little bit longer. Barely. I think they still think that they can get something out of Coutinho. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, yeah, there's a good number of people on here, but David Luiz doesn't belong on this list.
Yeah, he should be here, but apparently he doesn't want to leave Chelsea.
But the big news is that Ali believes Paul Pogba could perhaps be on his way to Real Madrid.